Today's story may be related to Feng Shui. First of all, this Feng Shui is by no means superstition. Many universities have set up Feng Shui courses, including Tsinghua University and Peking University, as well as many famous schools of architecture, and there are also professional courses such as architectural Feng Shui. In professional terms, Feng Shui is more like ecological planning. If you stay in one place for a long time, the environment is good, naturally people are in a good mood, and others' attitudes will not be so bad. So recently some videos have become very popular, that is, after the popularization of satellite maps, you will find that the bird's eye view of some places is very abstract, very similar to the Bagua array, which has attracted a lot of people's interest. First, I don't know why they did it. After all, you live in that place, but existence is reasonable. Well, back to today's story. An anonymous female netizen, let's call her Ayan, lives in a fourth-tier city. Her family lives near the city's landmark square, only 3 minutes on foot. To the east of the square is the municipal government, and to the west is the municipal committee. At first, there was a sculpture in the middle of the square, composed of 10 large silver rings, linked together, inspired by the story of the 10 sons. I say this, I guess many people can guess which city it is. At that time, the sculpture won the award, but since the municipal committee and the municipal government moved near the square, several leaders have fallen for various reasons without exception. Later, someone invited a master to come and see. It is said that this master is not simple. After he came, he said that this layout was not appropriate. The sculpture on the square is not like the sun, but like handcuffs and shackles. Therefore, the square was renovated on a large scale, and was transformed according to the master's suggestions. Strangely, after the transformation, there were indeed no major cases. At that time, almost everyone in the local area knew about it, but it had nothing to do with them, it was just a topic of conversation after dinner. Back to our contribution story. Xiao Yan has lived near this square for nearly 20 years and often hangs out on the square. It is not an exaggeration to say that he is very familiar with every brick, every tile, and every tree on the square. But last October, during the National Day, he had a friend who was in a bad mood and asked him to go out for a chat. At more than 11 o'clock in the evening, the two agreed to meet on the square. After meeting, they chatted while walking on the square. When they were tired, they sat down to rest. The two people chatted like this, without paying attention to the time, and suddenly shivered together. Then look at the fog around, look at the time, it is already 3 o'clock in the morning. It should be said that the weather in the middle of the night should not have fog, but they met. No matter how they walked, they were on the square and could not walk out of the fog. Moreover, there was no sound around, the lights of the buildings next to them could not be seen at all, only a faint starlight. The two people turned on the mobile phone lighting, but they could only see the road under their feet. After walking for a long time, the two people were a bit panicked, and their hands were more and more tight. The most confusing thing for Xiao Yan is that he is too familiar with this place. But at that time, it was like entering a maze, and he couldn't get out. Even if you walk in a certain direction, you still can't find the exit on the roads around the square. In this way, the two girls walked until 4:35 in the morning. Finally, the fog dissipated. The speed of the dissipation is like a sudden gust of wind, and it disappeared in just a dozen seconds. But they didn't feel a trace of the wind, and the temperature also obviously rose, not as low as before. What they couldn't understand the most was that after the fog dissipated, they found that there were other people on the square, but it gave them a feeling that there were only the two of them in the world. Xiao Yan's friend has a lively personality and ran to ask others, but that passerby also looked very confused. How to say there has been no fog, the two people hurried home. If according to the plot of the novel, these two people may have encountered supernatural phenomena. Dear listeners, what do you think? Well, see you at our next story.